Well, good evening and welcome to Christian World today. My name is Frederick Njurian on this beautiful Sunday evening, the 19th of November 2023, and I can tell you straight from Eastlands, Nairobi, it's raining cats and dogs, and I hope it's also raining where you are because rain is a blessing. Now, like we always do during the Sunday evening bulletin, we'll look at some of the things that happened during the day, and then later on we'll look at some of the things affecting the Christendom. We've got some great stuff happening, revival in Egypt, and then later on we'll have a conversation on the role of the fathers in bringing up the girl child. Well, today was actually the International Men's Day, and kama kawaida, it was poorly celebrated. We're going to find out why in a couple of minutes or so. But first, all right, we start off by looking at the social-political issues affecting this country, where, like today, Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir encountered a hostile welcome in Bomet County as he was heckled by a disapproving crowd during an event attended by President William Ruto. The incident unfolded during a church service in Sotik, where the audience refused to remain calm and effectively halted Chirchir's address. Despite his attempts to speak, the crowd's loud chants rendered Chirchir's speech inaudible. Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok, serving as the MC, had to intervene to restore order and rescue the cabinet secretary from the tumultuous reception.
Kongoi missing, Your Excellency, the President, Kongoi amun kenyon kesatul raine, ko Kongoi amun imiga en Sotik koga enane, ko kaya gomwa chi gole magitaro gutich chia ganumbunen, ko engalega sitimoge ke amun gigo negasinoton. Ko gimwa gongoi en message nebo kanisa, message nebo galiet, ko gongoi en galiet nagitingenge en Sotik, gongoi missing.
Well, that's a very difficult situation, mostly so coming from your home crowd. However, the crowd refused to listen to him. The residents were angered by the frequent blackouts, which have made it difficult to consistently carry out their operation. When he took to the stage, President William Ruto assured the residents that the matter would be sorted out. The head of state vowed to ensure all parts of the country have reliable power supply.
Mumesema kwa mfano hapa Bomet mambo ya stima. Na mimi naona mnapigia kelele waziri wangu Davis. Mnasema hajawapanga na stima. Wacha niwaambie story. Si ndio? Sasa hiyo maneno ya stima. Hapa Bomet watu 50% ya Bomet, 81,150 people tumewawekea stima. Sasa ile imebaki hiyo 50% ingine mimi naelewa na nitapanga. Na huyu Davis amesikia vile mmesema.
Well, the president defended the government-to-government deal with Saudi Arabia, accusing the opposition of playing politics.
Maneno ya mafuta katika taifa letu la Kenya. Ni vizuri nieleze watu wa Kenya. Tuache siasa duni na porojo ndogo ndogo. Mimi naendesha serikali yenye iko na uwazi. Hizo contracts zote, they are available. Ziko bunge tayari. Wacheni kutuadaa ati mnataka tuwapatie contract. Contract iko public. There is no secret contract anywhere. Contract iko public, iko bunge. Wabunge wote wako huko. wabunge ya serikali wako ndani ya bunge, wabunge wa upinzani wako ndani ya bunge, waende waangalie hizo contracts na wainterrogate, watajua sisi we are running an administration that is above board and that looks for the best interest of the Republic of Kenya. I want to challenge our competitors. I want to challenge the opposition. Watuambie, badala ya kutuambia we must prove that it is a scam, let them prove to us that it is a scam. The stakeholders in the petroleum product industry themselves have confirmed that what we have done is the best for Kenya, is the best for every citizen, and is the best for all the states.
Well, a lot of politics happening in the country. And talking about politics, former President Uhuru Kenyatta now says he's never moved by the blame game that comes from the current regime, as he's gotten used to it. Speaking during a church service in Mwingi, Kitui County, where he had been hosted by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, the former president said he's still in Azimio and will not be deterred.
Mimi sitaki ninene mengi. Sitaki. Tumetishwa, tumeambiwa nini, tumeambiwa sijui nini. Kila saa mtu akishindwa njia ya kufanya kitu yake, sasa kesho yake mtasema hata watoto wakikataa ama mama akikataa kuzaa, najua Uhuru. Hata mimi sijui, lakini tumezoea tu, tunayasikia inaingia inapita na tunaendelea. Ama ni namna gani? Tangu ni kuwaombea amani, hiyo ndio hamu yangu kubwa sana. Tufanye kazi ya kutoa kila mtu shilingi yake.
Okay, that's your dose of politics. They say Kenya is a very political animal. If you do anything without touching on politics, it is not recognized. Let's go for a short break, and then when we come back, we take a look at some of the things that are happening within the Christendom and how they affect you and I. Now, there's a lot of concern that is going on, with leaders who deal with young people due to the level of depression and suicidal tendencies among the teens as young as 12 years old. Now, the teens leaders say the greatest source of the challenge facing their young lives is fathers, either the absence or failure by the fathers to play an active role in the lives of the teens. Now, some of the teens claim their parents don't understand them and they miss the affirmation from their dads mostly. Now, as we celebrate the International Men's Day today, we also look at what men need to do to build the society. Here's a clip from the Second Lady, Dorcas Gachagua, actually took time to celebrate the men.
These men, you see, nobody celebrates them. Yes. We celebrate the Mother's Day, we celebrate the Women's Day, we celebrate all the other days. But I'm very sure many of you did not know today is International Men's Day. Wow. So we have come to celebrate our own, and we will continue every year to talk and to say that the men too are humans. And they love to be loved. They love to be celebrated, and we must celebrate them all the time. Every time I say that if you want a solution to some of the greatest crises that we have faced and we have used so much money, we need a male conversation. We need to talk to our men.
The society, the parents of us, many people see us and they want to just draw us away. Indeed, Mom is standing in this campaign of fighting for the rights of a boy child. We realize that we are the pillars. We are the pillars of this nation and the world. Only if you are embraced, only if you are shown that indeed we belong and we carry the seed of this generation. Yes, we are reforming, with Mom standing with us and the church. We are so grateful that indeed we've started this walk of transformation. And
you know, it's pretty interesting as men claim or say that they're not being celebrated in the society. I had an opportunity to speak to some young girls, you know, a big group of young girls last week. And some of the things these young girls were saying got me thinking, because most of them were depressed, had suicidal tendencies, and were talking about how their dads are in the house, but they're actually absent. And some of the dads are absent both physically and, you know, emotionally. And the girls are so broken. And it was very difficult to watch and listen to some of those girls talking. You could see tears just running down their cheeks because they're missing something from their fathers. And as we celebrate the International Men's Day, I'm going to be talking to a gentleman called Covenant Angongo later on in the show, who deals a lot with these young people, and is going to tell us what he's also a parent, what we as fathers need to do. Our girls are missing affirmation, and we are releasing them into the world, broken girls. So we're going to have that conversation later on in the show. And I would love to know, did you get any affirmation from your dad when you were growing up, or do you get it even now? That coming up later on in the show. Now, a move of God has started in one of the oldest civilizations in the world, and that's Egypt. Over the last month, an amazing hunger for the gospel has hit the nation, which is currently going through a very difficult time economically. Now, according to Michael Youssef, who has been used by God in the current revival, Egyptian Christians have been praying for the revival for a long time. And finally, God has come through for them. Michael Youssef says his ministry, which is called Leading the Way, saw at least 7,800 people giving their lives to the Lord in what has been billed as the largest Christian event ever in Egypt, which saw more than 17,000 people attend. Here is Michael Youssef on the meeting.
Stop. And so we praise God for all those people. They signed the card. They all are signed to be followed up. 90% of them were going to be assigned to churches that they can go to, Bible-believing churches. And so we just rejoice in what God has done.
Now, at one point, you were urged to cancel the event because of the war in Israel. You referred to the Gaza war. How did you respond to that?
Well, I have some dear friends here in Atlanta. Many of them are my congregation. I'm their pastor. And I thank God that they love me. And they were coming to me and saying, you know, why risk? Why go now? You know, the war, and it could be spreading. And I said two things. Number one, God knew 12 months ago when this was planned that this is going to happen. It's not taking him by surprise. And the second thing is, can you imagine an announcement made that the evangelist is not coming because, you know, he's concerned about the situation in the Middle East? What kind of a God do I worship? And I said, there is no way I'm going to cancel this. I'm going no matter what. And I knew that I could trust God. This is God's plan, and we want to be on his plan, not ours.
So how is the war affecting Egypt and the region?
The pressure is mounting on Egypt, especially from Muslim Brotherhood and other factions who are criticizing the government. But I can tell you, President Sisi is a very wise man.
It's such an amazing thing to see such a great revival happening in Egypt, of all the countries. It just seems like the Lord is reaching out to some of the areas and some of the countries that, well, ideally most people would say Christianity? Nah. But it's actually happening. Just like every week we try and give you the testimony of people from other faiths who have come to the saving grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, people from other faiths. Tonight, we go back to Canaan land, Israel, and find a Jewish man who actually discovered that Jesus is the Messiah.
Growing up, we always understood that we had our Bible and the Gentiles had their Bible, the New Testament, and that they were two completely separate books. Because the only people I knew who were believers in Jesus were all people in our public school who were Italian Catholic, I imagined that Jesus was Italian. And so the understanding that he's actually Jewish was a shock. And then to hear that the New Testament was written by Jews, I couldn't believe it. My expectation was that the New Testament was like my grandparents had told me. It was a book on how to persecute the Jews, and it's something you should stay away from. Of course, when you're told you should stay away from something, curiosity gets the best of you, and you've got to see it. When I opened the New Testament, I was expecting to find a handbook on how to persecute the Jews. My grandparents had warned me that it was written by people who killed the Jews. That's what I was expecting to see, and yet when I'm opening it, I'm reading a story written by Jews about Jewish people. The New Testament was a fascinating book. And so as I opened this book in the library, I kind of looked around, made sure that none of my friends had seen me taking a Christian Bible off the shelf. And I opened it, here's the first sentence. It says, "This is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham." So 3 people are mentioned, and they're all Jewish. I was very shocked. And as I continued to read, I'm reading the story of a Jewish man who was born in a Jewish village, in a Jewish country, and one day walks into a synagogue and announces that he is the Messiah. The more I read the words of Jesus, the more I became attracted to him. It was as beautiful as anything I had ever read in any other part of the Bible. As I came to faith that Yeshua, that Jesus was the Messiah, it was clear that that was the most Jewish thing I could do. This is not the person who's a renegade to our people. This is the one who was promised in our Bible, the 53rd chapter of Isaiah. It is astonishing. If you would just read that chapter, just without the Bible being around it, you would say, oh, this is some Christian Bible. This is Jesus. When you realize, though, that it's in the middle of our Bible, our Jewish Bible. When I first came to faith, I dared not tell my father, because this is a time period in the 1970s when there were lots of gurus and cults, and he was very concerned about me getting involved in some crazy sect and going off someplace. So I waited for months, and when I finally told him, he was very skeptical. On his own then, he started to read about Jesus as well. About 1.5 years later, I told him that the fellow who wrote one of the books that he had read, that this fellow was giving a lecture in the city of New York. And he agreed to come out to hear that person. And one of the most amazing moments of my life was the speaker said, "Would everyone here who is a Jewish believer in Jesus, would you raise your hand?" And I raised my hand. My father also raised his hand. And I looked over and I said, "Pop," he didn't say would all the Jews raise their hand. He said, would all the Jewish believers in Jesus raise their hand? And my father looked over and he said, yes, I heard what he said. The decision to come to faith in Jesus as the Messiah was not something that was a momentary lark. It wasn't something that was a passing fad. And I could see changes in myself that I knew were not from within myself. I had kind of tapped in to a truth for our Jewish people that was very powerful.
So that's exactly what is happening as we are focusing, thinking that it's only in Africa, it's only in the Christian nations that the Lord is doing revival. The Lord is reaching out to people who never heard of the gospel, of His gospel. and he's reaching out to them, and people are getting beautiful conversions, and we thank God for that. Now, even as we are having a conversation in the studio today, you know, one gentleman told me that today being the International Men's Day, do you know what the world is celebrating? The International Toilets Day. I don't know what that means, but we are celebrating the Toilets Day instead of celebrating men? That says a lot. Now, if you're one of those globetrotters, you love going around the world, and you get an opportunity to go to South Africa, please be very careful. When you get a desire to go to church, be careful which churches you go to, because there are a lot of things that happen in South African churches that I don't think would pass in any church in the world. Take, for instance, this gentleman who decided to tell his congregation that he was praying for fuel and turning it into pineapple juice. And gentlemen with suits, go right ahead and drink. Watch this.
Maybe some of you don't believe that this is fuel.
So I'm turning it into a pineapple juice. I'm turning it into pineapple juice. The word is upon it. Oh. You want to drink pineapple juice? Okay.
Oh, foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? You know, it is unbelievable. Whatever they were drinking was still fuel. Irori. If you had taken it, put it into your car, the thing would have started. And people claim that it was turned into pineapple juice. So be careful where you go to church. It's very important. We're going to go for a short break. When we come back, we have the conversation. As I told you, had an opportunity to minister to some young girls. And some of the things they were telling me, and these are girls not older than 13 years, because some of them are just about to transition to secondary schools. They're talking about suicide. They're talking about depression. When we were that age, we didn't even know how to pronounce depression. But now they're talking about depression, suicide. They feel as though they're not loved, mostly by their dads, because they are seeking the attention of their fathers. And so we're going to have that conversation. And I'd like to know from you, did you ever receive affirmation from your father? Or do you receive it today? Let's take that short break. When we come back, we get into the conversation.
From the fields to your screens.
Playing Ronaldo. It is Ronaldo. It's 2-1 United.
This is where you will get your full detailed story from football, hockey, volleyball.
Otavio goes once more. Oh, he's done it brilliantly.
Basketball.
Long range three.
All in one.
For exclusive interviews, discussions, and sports feature stories.
Every Monday from 2 p.m.
to 4 p.m.
on EBN TV. This is The Scoreboard.
Walisema mnywa maji kwa mkono mmoja,
kiu yake pale pale. Ndiposa tumekuletea wewe mtazamaji wetu
mkono mwingine ili kukata kiu yako na ari yako ya ufahamu.
Naam, ngoma imechezwa mtazamaji, basi hatuna budi kulisakata kukuletea wewe ufahamu wa kaunti yako,
tukiangazia masuala ya siasa na uongozi,
jamii na itikadi,
maendeleo na changamoto katika kaunti yako. Ungana nami Belinda William,
nami Emmanuel Marwa
kwenye makala ya Gatuzi Langu kila siku ya Jumatatu saa 5:30 hadi saa 6:30.
Siri ya mafanikio ni Yesu. Siri ya mafanikio ni Yesu.
Siri ya mafanikio ni Yesu. Siri ya mafanikio ni Yesu. Bwana Yesu asifiwe, watu wa Mungu. Kwa majina naitwa kama Blessed Simiyu, mwimbaji wa nyimbo za injili kutokea Nairobi, Kenya. Ukipenda kupata wimbo huu kama sikiza yako, unaweza tu dial *837 *2785 hash. Sikiza nyimbo hizi kama sikiza yako na itakubariki. Nyimbo zangu zinapatikana kwa EBN TV. Nyimbo zote utabarikiwa unaposikiza. EBN wanainua wasanii.
Iko siri kubwa, siri ya mafanikio, we mama.
Now, welcome back. Just in case you've joined us, this is the Christian World Today. We look at some of the issues that are happening in the world today. And in the previous clip, we saw a pastor in South Africa who's turning petrol into juice. And right now, because of the cost of petrol, if we can get one of these guys who can be able to turn juice into petrol, that would really, really, really help. Really help. Anyway, the conversation that we're having today is where young girls, I'm talking about girls as young as 14, 13, are having suicidal thoughts. They're feeling depressed. They feel as though they're not being loved by mostly their dads, because they say their dads are either present and absent at the same time. He's there, but he's not there. And others are not there, both physically, mentally, emotionally. They're just detached from what is happening in their lives. And a lot of them, I had an opportunity to talk to some of them, basically feel as though they are all alone in the world. One of them actually told me that she feels so lonely in the house that the only friend that she has is her phone. And you know what? That could be your daughter. What do we need to do as men as we celebrate the International Men's Day, even though the world is celebrating the Toilets Day? What do we need to do to ensure that we get it right? Because the entire world depends on us getting our act right. To help us get an understanding of this and what can be done, I have Covenant Angongo, who is basically deals with the youth. We can actually call him a youth pastor, ish specialist. And so, welcome.
Asante, thank you.
Let me start, very interesting name, Covenant. Let me start off by asking, in your interaction with the young people, have you come across what I'm talking about? I mean, the girls, mostly girls talking about, being depressed, suicidal, and all kind of things that during our times were almost unheard of.
I'll say yes, severally. Because you see, one thing that we need to understand as fathers is being in that house as a father. You are the first man that your daughter interacts with in life. And whatever they learn from you will either make them have a picture of or an image of who a man is or a man is not. And most of the people, especially the ladies, is fathers are there. If they're
there physically?
Yeah, they're there physically.
Yes.
But there's no connection. There's a little interaction whereby the father will be there just to be present in the house, but not present in these people's lives. I remember today.
So it's like the man is in there, the father is there, but probably his concept of what a father is I'm providing. You got all the Wi-Fi you need, you got all the gadgets you need in this house, but there is no connection with that.
You see, the Bible said that Christ in us the hope of glory, meaning it's not only us having Christ in our lives, but Him being in our lives. And we forget that even as young people, you see, when you look at even people when families go out for maybe like meet up and all that, I've observed this that we'll take our children out, especially the maybe high school backwards, from 1 class 8, take them out, let them enjoy skating, and what we do as men, we sit down and enjoy. Probably if those are not born again, they're enjoying their drinks there. So we took these guys out. We didn't go out together. You see the difference?
We took them out. They were having their time on the other side. We were having our time on this side.
Then we go back home. We had a good family hangout. But the end of it is we didn't connect. Because one thing I should do is when I take my children out is, can I even play with them? Can I try to interact with them when they're doing what they're doing? Can I stop my phones? And when they're on the bouncing castle, can I be part of it? So we really try to give, but we don't give our hearts to our children.
So we are supposed to be very participatory.
Yes, that's the word, yeah.
You say that, and the first thing that comes to my mind, when I was growing up, Safari Rally was still in Kenya. I'm glad it's back. And my dad was crazy about, Safari Rally. And I can even vividly see him, see us walking in town headed toward KICC, him holding our hands as we went there. And as a result of the experience that I got from him, I love fast cars. And this, I can tell you, is as a result of having that experience with my dad, him being there, seeing how this was impacting his emotion, and then he had brought us to enjoy what he enjoys, and it became part of what I enjoy. Yes.
And you see, like now, most things, what happen in our houses is, as parents, we are really good in giving out things to our kids. But I think as a nuclear family that is very neat together, there's what we call intimacy, because we're forgetting that that family should be intimate. I should know you. I should know my dad when he's mad, when he's tired. My dad should know my daughter, or my dad should know my daughter or my son when they're going through something. Because some of us, we even not aware when our children are going through stuff. Why? Because we're not intimate with them. So we are really providing for them shelter, clothing, but that emotional connection with them that is the key to us growing together, we don't have.
Yes.
So we don't have that emotional connection, we have the physical connections. There's a lot of physical interaction, physical unity, physical oneness, but emotions are far away from one another. It's so sad that some of the parents right now are even really wondering when will the 2 months end, not knowing that this is the time for them to really have that close intimacy with children. Like you're saying, I know some of the teenagers who I was able to ask, when was the last time your dad told you I love you?
Yeah, actually, that's it's one.
They can't remember.
Yes, it's actually what we put there is we want to know when was the last time your pops, your father gave you an affirmation.
Yeah.
An affirmation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very important, isn't it?
It's very sad that they can't remember.
They can't remember when they got an affirmation from their dad.
They can't. And the worst thing is, like, the time we gave them, we asked that question about how is your mom and your dad, how do you relate to them? When the last time you people, even you told your mom, thank you. Your mom said, I love you, my daughter, my dad. And someone like, I don't remember. So we give them phones. We're having a meeting with the teenagers. We give them phones that if you don't have a phone, take my phone, type your name, say, hi, this is so-and-so. Dad, I love you. And the feedback was tears. From now the parents, because they realized...
Their parents were crying.
Yeah, could have realized we have never connected. Because these kids are like, Mom, I never told you this, but Dad, I love you. And some are like, is this the right number? Are you who is speaking? Because they're like, no.
Johnny,
no way. So the question is, where do you use these words?
If we're not using them on our kids.
Where do you use these words? I think the best you can do to a child is, because like right now, I know there are a lot of tuitions going on. Do you think these kids have time with their parents?
They don't.
They have a lot of time with their
parents. We are trying to get them to excel in their academics, but we are not helping them excel in this thing called life.
I was looking at one of the statistics in terms of what has been given in form of glory. I can call it maybe the ladder of priorities has been inverted, whereby in most of these teenagers, because of that, and even as family, we are going for our social status. And then I was looking at it, I discovered that now the family ties is down.
We don't care how we are connecting.
So most of the things we're looking for is our status, academics. It's very sad right now. If you ask a parent, what's your greatest desire for your child? They'll tell you, I want them to pass and become academic gurus. No one says, I want them to grow in character and probably be better than me. Why? Because we are looking into their lives in terms of career advancement. But these kids are growing up, performing well, but having a wound and a very big void in them that hasn't been fulfilled. And that's why when these kids go outside and a man affirms them, become a prey. Because their dad didn't affirm them. So I think as fathers doing this intention Father's Day is, can you sit down with your daughter and just talk to them, just to hear what they're going through. What are this? Our pastor friend of mine said that one day after leaving, when it picks his daughter from school, they don't go home directly, Pastor Karanja. They take this kid to maybe a place they eat, they sit down and eat, they catch up. So the daughter will ask him how he's about home, then this father will ask him, how has school been? Tell me what challenge you're going through. And from there they connect. And from there this girl was able to do what? I'm born again, but as a pastor child, people see me as I can't make mistakes. You see, there's a connection. When this father now affirms this daughter, oh, don't what? It's normal, let's work on this, don't fear about this. This daughter has got an affirmation. But if this girl goes home and didn't have someone to talk to about the struggles at school, what happens? He gets always on phone. So I was hearing something that we really get a lot of attention on our social media than at home.
The kids get a lot of attention, the likes and all that.
That is,
So no wonder that girl told me that when she's alone in the house, when at home, despite the fact that there are people, she feels so lonely, and the only friend she has is her phone. Meaning, from the phone, she's getting a lot of, affirmations of whether it's the right kind of affirmation or wrong. She's getting somebody who's paying attention to her and telling her, hey, you're cute, you're this, and that's pretty dangerous.
Look at the one of the photos on the generational social medias, where we are not.
We
are being told that Facebook is for the old people, and at WhatsApp, what is that? It's okay. This is for us. I'll go to Instagram, go to TikTok. How are girls dressed up? So if I don't get information from home, I'll have to do something that will attract someone's attention who doesn't know me. And he'll say something that, you know what, if this daughter is called Shama, Shama, this is awesome, you look cute. I'll feel like at least someone has a family, but the void that is really in the house, that reality that no one has affirmed me. So I take it on social media. So whatever I get there will glue me there.
Yeah. Is there a possibility, because if you look at today, the World International Men's Day, but the world is celebrating the International Toilets Day.
And that is where there's a lot of affirmation. You're not even hearing anybody calling us.
So, is there a possibility we are dealing with a men's species that did not get affirmation, does not feel appreciated, and so these men are so wounded in their corner, and they say hurt people hurt people. I was talking to a man some time back, and he was saying how, you know, one time, I think he had 300 shillings in his pocket, and then the daughter called, and the daughter told, the daughter was in college, and she told him, Dad, basically I spent more of my money, so I don't have sufficient money to take me home. Can you send me something? And so he only had 300 shillings, and he sent the entire amount to the daughter. Then he walked so many kilometers to get home. And every time the daughter would call, Dad, where are you? And he tells her, I'm on the way coming. She had absolutely no idea the sacrifice that that man had paid for her to get home safely. He didn't care about himself. Then probably you get home and your kids are, you're not feeling appreciated. So this guy was telling me, I get home, she has absolutely no idea, but he loved it because she was concerned. She was calling to find out, you've not gotten home, and by now you're normally at home. So this male species is not celebrated, it's not being celebrated today, instead it's a toilet.
The toilets,
There's a lot of sacrifice.
I don't know what's happening in the toilet.
And probably that's the reason why the affirmation beat is not coming as much as it should. Or am I reading this wrong?
True, because you see, some of us carry wounds. Maybe we were never affirmed. Even you didn't hear anyone from my father like, you're a great man, or you'll be a great man. So you feel like these words never make a meaning because they have never made a meaning in your life.
You were never told, so you don't see the use.
You don't think they make a significance in someone else's life. But I want to say, what happens as parents or especially fathers when you're working in an office and you get appraisal and you're given maybe like an award for being the best customer care service, best sales rep. How do you feel?
You feel great.
You feel great.
Yeah.
So it's a form of that the company affirming you for working hard and giving you, like, we have seen you, you're able to recognize your contribution in this company. The same happens when probably I'm selling items and then I give a customer service to a customer. This customer says, thank you so much, this one worked out well for me. How do you feel? I feel like I've achieved it. Even if you're going through wounds as fathers, but there's a space for us that we're not able to transfer this to the generation to come. Because as much as I'm going through hurts, if I have a challenge with my wife, and which all of us know that in every family there must be conflicts, do I transfer the same to my children? But that's also what happens. Because what I know is the world is so, I would say something that it's a lot of busy society looking for how to be able to overcome the challenges and the economical changes that are happening. It denies us a chance even to connect with the people that we know.
Sure.
So it's a bit what we call, I would say something that you don't need to look for create time, but you must do what? Be intentional to create time. So some of our parents, especially fathers, I think also one thing that's happening is there's a lot of burden expectations from us. You have to probably meet these bills, do this and this. Someone said that you struggle in every way, and when you come home, you just want to rest. So I also say, as much as there's an imbalance between now that we need to have as parents, as fathers, that we need to balance between how we achieve it outside there and how we're failing in the house. So for fathers being or going through the wounds of our past, which is one of the greatest contributor, because some of us were hurt, and some of us grew knowing that affirmations don't really matter, because even the way we were told in school. I remember just one of the camps we had, and one of the speakers was contributing about the way the teacher used to say that he's good for nothing, he's a lazy boy. And then the speaker was sharing his life in terms of how he was bullied by the teachers.
Yes.
And how God was able to turn around things, and now he's one of the greatest authors. One lady started crying.
She started crying?
Yes. And she cried when she went outside, and then one of us followed her, and then she was like, I think I'm the same person. People don't appreciate me. People don't see the good in me. People say that I'm so lazy. So you wonder, this person who says people, who says something positive to them. So as a father, you see, if I'm calling to my kids, I don't know that, hey, but there's so much in that corner.
Yes.
There's something wrong.
Yes, something is off.
But what do fathers do? Hi, are you okay? Yes. So we provide Wi-Fi, earphones, and we make sure that our fridges are full. But I think the greatest gift a father can give to their daughters is presence, and availability, and being intentional. Yeah.
When we are intentional in this, a little bit, let me go a little bit to the men, because like we need to get it to a point whereby these men are taken care of. Even at home, a man is like a lion, a king. One of the things that I've had men say is that I want to come home and also be appreciated by the lioness, by the queen. I want to feel as though my palace is the safest, is the place whereby after I've been to my boss has told me, tore me to bits. The world has treated me whichever way it's treated me. I need to come home and now get my wife, speaking positive things also to me and appreciating me for who I am and what I am, and me the same, because these days ladies are going out. How do we do this?
I think, like I said, it comes to where we could talk about intentionality. We need to avoid these pressures, because I think most families are failing because of we're busy looking for how to feed our families and get how to tend to them.
We are busy looking for money to feed our family, but we forget how to tend to them.
And spending means come home and nobody will get anything. But how can you still have that connection of just take that tea with ugali.
Let me do this, I need to go for a short break. I need to sort out your microphone. I think there's a lot of popping sound. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. I'd like to know, when was the last time you received affirmation from your dad? When was the last time?
You've seen them on TV.
Nakushukuru Mungu wangu kwa kunifikisha hapa.
But do you know their stories? Come with me.
if people look at me,
yes,
even before they hear me, will they see Jesus?
Wezi ambia watu mimi am a worshiper, na wakati you are worshiping people can't encounter God.
Ukisoma hiyo inabidi sana katika ile maisha yako hata kama kwamba hauimbi.
Join me, Teddy Psalmist, Mwana wa Ngolo Mosio
and DJ Show
every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. only on EBN TV.
This is EBN TV, transforming your world. This is EBN TV, transforming your world.
Welcome back to Christian World Today. And just in case you're joining us, today I'm with Covenant Angongo, who is a gentleman who deals with young people mostly. And today we're looking at the role that the father needs to play, because during one of our meetings that I had in the course of the week, and his interaction with young people, mostly so girls, there is a lot of depression and suicide that these young girls are talking about. And one of the things you can connect it to, according to them, and I think rightly so, is that they're not getting any good connections with their dads. There's no affirmation, you know, that nice connection. And I'd like to know from you too, when was the last time you received an affirmation from your dad? Right? Beautiful. Now, as we were talking about, you know, this king who gets into his palace and needs an affirmation from the queen because of the lots of things that he's gone through, while at the same time the queens these days are going through a lot because they also have to go out and hunt, so to speak. How do we affirm one another so that we get to a point whereby when it's okay with us, then it's easy for us to transfer it to our daughters?
Yeah, and like you said, both of us are expecting affirmation.
Yes.
And we have the third party, our children.
Yes.
So the whole house is waiting for her to say something, mom to say something. So everyone like, he starts first. So everyone is like, dad start, mom start. I think what we need to do is, you see, initially, I know a family whereby before they start eating, when they're having, I think this is Reverend Ken Aringo. He mentioned to us that every night, Reverend Ken Aringo,
okay, before
they go to sleep, they always have a family altar. So before they eat, everyone should give out the testimony how the day was. So including the parents. So how was the day? Tell us how the day was, achievement, challenges. You see, there's a way to connect.
Yes.
So even before you start expecting, you're already broken the ice. So you used to say that during that time, they will share about how their day was. If they came from school, they said how the school was. And from there, they were able to identify one of the young boy who was going through, someone was trying to do what? To sodomize.
Oh, man.
Why? Because it's been made like a habit. Some of our parents, you know, especially fathers, they don't miss news. So our dad will come to the house and he'll be like, I'm watching news. He's intentional. So one thing that I learned from Ken Aringo is, can we have a time whereby all of us are seated on And just the way you sit down eating food, even people don't eat food together nowadays.
Yeah,
the
true.
challenge.
Yeah.
People go, food is there, you go serve. Eat at your own time. I used to bring that fellowship together. I think we need to go back to the basics, whereby it is food time.
Put aside your phones and all
if
that.
you're doing a meeting,
Yeah.
tell them that by this time I'll be doing what? I'll be eating. Because now, I think it's becoming so worse. I've just realized, even in our house, food has been made. People want to eat.
Yeah.
But I think if you put it up by it is meals time, then everyone has to be on the table. Because I remember I was telling some people that food is an altar. Because it's the first temptation in the Garden of Eden. The first temptation of Jesus was anointed. The first temptation that brought Cain and Abel into war. So it means I can use the food or the mealtime to bring my family together. So this is what can do does. Let's talk, share your experiences. So as we wait for people to affirm us, I think the best way, because all of us have pressure, the icebreaker is, do you have a connection that brings us together before we start expecting for other people? Yeah, so I'll just challenge all of us. Parents, both fathers and mothers, can you have a place whereby once per day or once every day we connect as a family? It may be before you go and sleep, or it may be during the time that now all of us are a bit free. So that after breaking the ice, in the same discussion, a daughter will speak, a son will speak, a father will speak. And because it's something that if they did say today, they'll say tomorrow. Why? Because they know this is a place where all of us are open. Yeah, so
and you make it such a safe, such a safe place.
Yes.
But we as men have to take, we have to take the initiative. We have to go out, be the first ones to do this.
I think men should not just really draw maybe laws or whatever guidelines, but also initiate. What you're saying. I think also what daughters see is when they see their mothers doing a lot.
Yes.
And their fathers are just probably following up. They also have a feeling of how or who is this man in the house. So I think also when roles are defined well and men take initiative, but the challenge is some of, like you're saying, men are empowered, but ladies are empowered more. So when a lady is empowered more than the father, and there's no connection that the two, whereby the lady maybe is working and the man probably is doing business, are not really in a well-paid job. If that role of the father has been probably demeaned because of his salary, and then he feels like he's not a man in the house, he won't initiate. Because he feels like, I think my daughters have realized what is happening. And that calls to where we call about, even if the wife is working and getting more money, can it be in a way where the kids can't see the realities in it that dad go to? Because make the man not even come out as a lion, like you're saying. So let there be a place where there's a compatibility.
Whereby if the lady earns more, when the kids ask for money, she can tell them, if the husband doesn't have money, she can tell the kids, talk to your dad, and then she sends the dad's money so that the dad can give the kids, so that the kids don't.
They gain trust and confidence in their fathers, because one of the things that kids learn is whoever brings anything in the house,
he's a lead.
He's a leader. I remember my kids when, even if you go to the shopping, all of us, and the mom is the one who came with the bag and handed that thing to them, they'll say, "Mommy, thank you for buying for us." So what happens is, even if that happens more, and the mom doesn't say, "No, it's daddy who buy this," they'll have, "Who bought this?" "Mommy, mommy." That's what happens. So when they know that,
so the image of the man is diminished.
Diminished because now he feels, the kids feel like daddy, maybe like he's like us. Mom buys everything to all of us. So dad doesn't contribute anything in life. So they also feel like the man feels he's not having any say. So what does he do? He cages in.
I remember when I was growing up, I mean, the presence of my dad was so so real.
Yeah.
I mean, you felt his presence. Like whether he's there or not, he comes into that, you really know that, dad is around.
Yeah.
And you would know even if mom comes with stuff, you would literally know it's dad who's provided through mom. But now the lines are becoming...
And I think the challenge is, because one lady was saying that they used to see, a bit older, that they used to know when the dad is coming, that they'll see the lights of the car coming like a kilometer away. They'll all run to the house.
Yes.
Because there's someone who, when he comes, he's able to notice.
Yes.
But nowadays, I think we become so familiar.
Yeah. We've become too friendly to our children. And the lines are not drawn.
The lines are not drawn.
They think we are part of... We are
also children.
Yeah.
So we don't have... And that's why when they don't have a safe space to really... Hey, let me talk to dad about this. Because dad has become so familiar. I remember some of the parents saying that, yeah, dad won't do anything.
Today?
Dad won't do anything. If you report this to him, nothing. What about mom? Hey, mom will beat me. Why? Because I think we think when we become also so tough to them, we lose them. But I think being tough doesn't mean that you really restrict them. But also guide them. Because toughness doesn't mean that just don't do this, but also lead them. This is how you're supposed to do this. So let's be involving in our children. Like I was asking another young guy the other day that, do you know your dad well? Kidogo to say, can you ask him about his childhood life? Where did he go to school? The challenges he faced? What was his career? The job that he's doing, does he love it? Why is he doing it? What's the greatest temptation that ever experienced the job that he's doing? And he's like, oh, I think it's a good thing. And then I had a conversation. And they were like, hey, my dad used to sleep in a chicken's house. Because there were 8 of them and he could not sleep with the ladies in the house. So he used to go to the chicken's house. Some of us used to stay in the neighbors' houses. I don't know whether you know, whereby you eat in your home,
but you sleep in your neighbor's
room.
Yes.
So you see, when you initiate such conversations,
you get to know one another well.
But it must be in a safe space whereby, because some of the parents that I know, I think you understand that most parents are unapproachable. So a child is very safe talking to the household, but not talking to the parents.
That's very sad.
Especially even the fathers. I realized something that Reverend Ken read to us, that one of the young girls who was introduced to pornography and into masturbation, into now lesbianism, was through an aunt. And this lady was saying that all these times this was happening in your house when we were staying with my aunt who passed away. But because we didn't used to talk, I talked not to her more than you. Why? Because the safe space. Are we vulnerable to our kids? When you go to our office and then feel like maybe things didn't work out well, can I come back and tell my daughter, hey, today my dad was this way? But we show the bigger part of us, the greatest, the unfailing part of us. So these teenagers and these young girls, when they have issues, they feel like there's so much disadvantage to talk to a man who never fails. So we're not even open to our daughters, a challenge. So if a girl is going through maybe an abuse, and dad has been that super dad, they won't open up. Yeah, they'll feel judged.
And so they won't open up.
Because they know dad has never shared
he's never gone, he's never failed. He's a super dad. And you know, we create this image like, you know, we were all number 1 in school. And you know, our kids later on discover some of our past papers and they ask, Dad, I thought you were always number 1 and you got 04 in mathematics.
Mathematics, out of 100.
So it is always good to have that conversation. I really felt sad when I was talking to those girls. And I was thinking, by the way, I hope my daughters are not going through the same thing and unable to talk to me, because these girls are saying things, you look at it and you wonder, my Lord, we need to reach out to them before, because now these are girls that are going to secondary school. When they get to secondary school and they get other girls or boys for that matter that are as messed up because of the absence of the father, then you can imagine what kind of a community is created there. It is a very negative community.
It is so sad for someone to really have a suicidal thought. It means it's a long thought.
Yes.
Because suicidal thought don't just come immediately like a day's thing. They have been starved of something.
Yes.
And because that starvation, then they feel like it's okay even not even exist.
Yeah.
So I think for the fathers who have daughters, especially, if you don't get involved in the daughter's life, someone else will take over.
Yeah. If you don't involve yourself, somebody else will take over. All right, I'd asked a question, was that last time you got an affirmation from your dad? And we got some conversations that are coming through our Facebook, and I want to read them out. I have Sesmos Marau who's saying you're enjoying the conversation. Then we have Kate, you say, hi, wow, happy toilet. Happy Toilets Day. By the way, I have 3 cases of my friends wenye hawajui baba zao, but wako pia, bawako, pia mimi, but God is great. Then we have Lennox. Okay, pia mimi nimejua sai, leo ni Happy Men's Day. We, my dad tuliishi, tumemuona once per month. So me hapana. So this one used to see the dad once in a month. Then we have Alan with great conversation. Then we have Terian Mwaiki. You're saying availing the resources while ignoring relationship with the daughter is the worst spoil. Then I have Jambi Angogo saying, that must be your wife. She says following. Then we have comedian, you're saying you're following. Angela Kitondo, you're saying you're watching. Good to hear from you, Angie. And so conversation keeps on going like that. So how do we get to a point where we are able to reach out to girls who are already feeling like this?
I think the best way is, because I'm thinking about it, that these people in our houses.
Yes.
And they're with us.
Yes.
As a father, what you need to do, if we talk about because it starts from the house.
Yes.
Before it reaches to you and me, what am I going to do as a father? Because if fathers don't take up their role of being not only kings or priests, but being protectors in terms of knowing how their children are, and not only academically, how is your grade? Let me see, what did you get? And that's what we normally do. It's so sad.
What did you get?
Yeah, let me see, last time, this time, what happened? And you're like, and I paying fee? So you don't know why, because they should be like, I see these grades. Could that be a problem? I love some of the parents that have been able to interview their kids who will be like, Douglas, I think I'm seeing a difference in my daughter or my son.
Yes.
And I feel like they are good in class. There's a challenge somewhere.
Yes.
So I think, can you just be keen with the children? If you can really, like, the Bible says that Jesus Christ, who is our greatest shepherd, has that knowledge of his sheep. When the sheep cries, he knows this is my sheep.
This is what is happening.
This is what is happening. Are we able to leave 1,000 files, 1,000 coins we're chasing, and come back to our houses? I'll say this for any parent who listen to me. Will you make time with your children this week? Just sit down with them. Try to know how they've been faring on. And the first thing is talk about your life. I think we are not so open with children.
Become vulnerable.
Vulnerable to them.
Show them that it is possible even for Superman to go through a bad day and talk about it, so that we can open the door for them to also talk about it.
And don't just like this. There's a person that don't just avail resources and ignore relationships. Because if you don't really create that the connection with them, we lose them. So one thing to do is just find time today or tomorrow. Like you're saying, when was the last day your dad affirmed you? I'll put it the opposite also. When is the last day you affirmed your children? Not because they did well, because you see the grades well.
Yes.
But just told them that you're a wonderful guy. You didn't look at the grades. You didn't look at if they could well chapati. But just called her, looked straight in their eyes, patted their back, told them that, you know what, in the whole world, there's no one who's like you. It makes a meaning. Because some of us are looking for, we are going to reward affirmation with all they've done. That's the wrong way to do.
Because we are making our affirmation based on performance.
Yes. So
I remember when I was in class 7, there was a lady teacher who came into class, and she told me, you know, she looked at what I'd done, and she told me, you know what? You're going to make it. Now, decades later, I can still remember what she said, where she said it, what I felt when she said it. It just helped me move on. And actually, once she told me, it was a strong affirmation coming from a teacher. And so teachers, it's very important what you also tell these girls. You can help when they're in school, you affirm them also. When she told me that, I excelled in her subject.
Wow,
yes, it just changed so many things. I started excelling in her subjects and doing it well, and she was a great teacher. After that, after affirming me, she became one of my favorite teachers.
Yeah.
And you can unlock so many doors by affirmation.
And you see, like you're saying about teachers affirming, or becoming like those who help in building up.
Yes.
Of course, there are those who will really break it out. Because like I remember this young lady was like, teachers say that I'm so lazy, I'm not so maybe like fast as other teachers. Just imagine if this kid comes home and of course, even if you have 2 girls or 3 girls in the house, they have different personalities, different maybe the way they do things. If you found this girl who was negatively maybe told some words in school, but because you're just a father who always say, thank you, you look good, I know that even in terms of what you're doing, you'll become a better girl.
Yes.
Someone said that she'll never make it in life. Then she comes home, but because you love affirming her and having her, because you know what, Sheila or Shama, I know you have the greatest future.
Yes.
You'll make a great person in life.
Yeah.
What do? You invalidate the previous.
Yeah.
But the moment you don't speak about that,
that remains.
And that's why now they look for where they're going to get some solace. Like you said, they go to phones. Because I got someone talk about me that I look so black. Can I post something about me on Facebook? Let me see what they're going to say. And I get people say, oh, I love that beauty, you look so nice. What happens? That's where I stay. Because like the bees will always be around the flower that has pollen.
Yes.
If it has no pollen, what do you normally see?
Just
they move away. Same too as human beings. We thrive where people appreciate us. We thrive where people see the good in us despite the negative part of us. So it makes us even become better. So what do you need to do this? Parents should just be a place whereby can kids be like the bees that comes to take pollen from us? Can we be the pollen that brings sweetness in our kids? Yeah.
Well said, beautifully said. This is a conversation that we'll definitely do again, so that we can be able to help, because I firmly believe that if families become stronger, the nation will change. Churches will become stronger, and even the workplace will become so different. The entire country will change. And that's the reason why there's a lot of attack on the families. So many families are going through some of the craziest experiences that they've gone through. And just because there's no sufficient funds in the house, don't mean that you hate one another. I mean, just come together. Yes, we don't have sufficient funds. You come, you become one, and then the lack of funds become a third party. So you work together, finding out, okay, so together, how do we sort out this problem? Because I was taught, if I see you as a problem, if I cannot solve you, and it's impossible to solve a man or a human being. What I'll want to do is get rid of the problem. Yes, and if I see you as the problem, I'll try and get rid of you. I'll see you as a problem, and as long as that problem is there, we'll have issues. So it is very important. That's why Christian World today, we want to focus on how we can build our families. As we do this, we build you, you build us, and as a whole congregation, we become very strong together for the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you again, Covenant Angongo. Thank you for taking time to have this conversation with me. So we'll do this all over again next week on Sunday. This is a beautiful week. Remember, it doesn't matter what is waiting for you tomorrow. You are made a conqueror. You are made strong. And he that is in you is greater than he that is in the world. And it doesn't matter what is coming your way. The Bible says that we have overcome them. We have overcome them. Not will. We have. So they come, but because we got the greater one in us, we have overcome it. So don't feel depressed, don't feel low. Build yourself up, speaking to yourselves in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. So do have yourself a lovely evening. God bless you.
That was a good conversation.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.